Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Follow me on social media if you'd like. I have links in the description below. I've also provided a link to the Onepunchman fan site / database where you can get plot synopsis to the series that we're going to cover. So we are going to be looking at not chapter. These books are, these volumes cover quite a few chapters. So we're going to be looking at volume 7 of the Onepunchman, who is my favorite current manga. I just love it. It is, of course, written by One and then drawn by Yusuke Murata. Now, feel free to check out. This started as an online comic book by One, and then it eventually became the huge sensation that it is at the moment. So, Mob Psycho 100 is also something that I absolutely love. So, how much money do you think this dude makes? Oh my goodness, he created quite the masterpiece. So, I absolutely fell in love with this series. I actually was recommended by it. So I have not all of them, but I have quite a bit of them. So once I'm caught up to the ones that I own, then we'll kind of pause until I get some more, because I only show stuff that I own, even though I show them digitally. So the fan site will give you quite a bit of backstory and everything. So these are created just for these volumes. So this includes chapters 35, 36, 37, and then there are 2 bonus mangas. Now, these 3 chapters are probably very long, because normally there's quite a bit of more chapters. So these are longer chapters per se. So I absolutely, like I said, love this series. I just love the marks. You can just see the different tools that they use. This looks to be just pure ink, or at least good imitation one. So we got here Tank Top Master. Now, I always tell people as we're reading this, manga you read from this way to this way. So you actually read this portion first. So you start with City A may never recover. Then you go here. But for now, I should focus on this fight. And then she may be rank 2, but I can't leave this to one little girl. So that's how you would read. So you read from this way all the way to this way. So so we have Tank Top Master here, who is we basically pick up from where we left off, and Child Emperor is who he was referring to. So he's quite strong here. So he grabs this thing and then he pulls it up. Then, boom. Just absolutely love how much. So he's throwing this piece of the building there. I just love how, how do I describe it? So I've been going through on the channel showing you a lot of 80s comic books, and I always compliment how dense each comic book is. So it seems a little hypocritical that I'm also going to tell you at the same time how much I love the fact that they allow these, because manga's so much different than American comic books. So I love the difference, and I love how it's not full of dialogue, and at the same time there's so much action, because that's, I think, what attracts me to this particular series. I know there's different mangas for different folks, but I mean, look at this. And so um I I do also enjoy that. So particularly when I've been covering some of the Avengers from the 80s, it's just it's just different. But for the price of an American comic book at $5 a piece, I want those full of dialogue. But here you get like 200 pages for $10 on manga. So I'm okay. Basically two comic books gives you a whole manga book. So I'm okay with letting things breathe a little bit, just because it's more cost effective to buy a manga and get all these things. I mean, versus two comic books that you probably read both of them in, I don't know, 20 minutes, just because there's so much filler. So it does seem a little, but I guess I want to have that here. So, all right. So we have now. This is Tatsumaki, I think her name is, and it's kind of cool. In color, she has green hair. She's also known, I think, as the Terrible Tornado. So she's the one that's a little bit stuck up here. So I kind of just glanced over her really, really quick. So, and so again, you read from here to here. So these are all the creatures, and they're kind of just, and suddenly everything kind of is exploding here. So we got Janus here, um, and he's commenting that the terrible tornado is quite powerful and may beat him um, by by herself. So Genesis talking to this guy. This is the Drive Knight, and then this is that Boy Emperor, or that oh my gosh, Child Emperor. So and so before he goes, he's gonna tell Genesis something. And then of course throughout this whole thing we always say, like, we always have the class that they're in and then the ranks. So that's something that's done for the reader. And then he's telling him that Metal Knight is his enemy, and to watch his back. He asks him what he means. He says you'll find out, but he should stay away from him. And then Genesis just looks. And then we have Melzagard here. And then this is the golly, there's so many characters. The atomic samurai. So this guy here. Then this is Puri Puri prisoner, and then gosh, what is his name? I think this is the metal bat, but I thought his hair was different. But oh well. Like I said, I just love how much room there is for the action. And then this is my goodness, this book, there's just so many characters. Ian, I think it is. So, and so this thing gets smashed here. You can see that this is the oh my goodness gracious. Bang. And so Melzigard laughs and tells him how fragile he is. Just hit him once. So he wonders why he had so much trouble. So he's ready to take on everybody. Then threatens them. He's gonna crush his skull. And the Atomic Samurai tells him to try it. And then here comes Bang. He says, "Oh, you loosened me up. I guess I'm rusty." And he's cracking um, his bones here. He says, "I needed a good workout every now and then." And then Melzigard is surprised. He says, "Oh my God, you're alive." Well, I added the "oh my God." So then someone yells here, "Pay attention." The Atomic Samurai slashes the guy, and that's what these things are, because you can see here, slash, and then it looks like he explodes, I would imagine. So he's broken down in little pieces, but it looks like he's able to assemble himself. And he says, you hide your central organ by moving it around, but you always regenerate from your head. So now that's where it is. And even a monkey would have noticed. So he is able to destroy Melzigard, and here he is. And Piri says they won. Okay, so yes, this was the metal bat. So, and he said that the big opponent still is above them. This is just so rad. This poor city. And then here's Boros, the main bad guy. It's kind of funny because if you've been watching this, Saitama's just gonna hit him once. But love the sound effects. Bam, crash, crack, wham. So all this destruction, and you can see that they're fighting. And he hits Saitama. Bam. I mean, wow. Just, I love this art. I mean, it's just so cool because when you look at these mangas, particularly with this one here, it's just so amazing. I don't know. I always find this, and of course, poor Saitama is here. So here comes Boros to hit him again. He kicks him. I like that they're not making it super easy, that Saitama just hits him and then that's it. So, and I think this is the toward the end of season 2. Season 3 hasn't come out yet. So, and it's so far it's like in chapter 120 something. So, there's still plenty for there's probably at least 4 more seasons that they can do. So, look at this. So, he had this massive release of his energy to kill Saitama. It says here, not even your bones will remain. And just look at all this destruction. Oh, so cool. Look at this. In the American comic book, this would have to be a small panel. So, so everybody looks at the Rumble. Things are starting to crash down. But Saitama's getting up. And Boros sees him behind. He's behind him. And grabs Saitama. I love how they're to show just the combat, just all the slashing. And so, next chapter here. He tells him he's a worthy opponent. I mean, there's so little. I mean, you guys could probably read this, but it sounds just if I was just quiet letting you read. So, and we're sort of not um covering, but there's so little dialogue that some of it is just kind of easy to see here. But you can just see how the fight's been really hard on Saitama. He hasn't been able to just overcome it. So, saying his species survived the struggle on a harsh planet, and they possess the greatest natural healing in the universe, probably like a healing factor. Although I tell you, one eye is probably not very, because you know you definitely want something like a second eye. You can always lose one eye and still see with if you have two. So lets them know that in seconds he could close a wound that would be able to kill them. And you can see he gets a new limb, and everybody else, their wounds increase, and you can see here Saitama's had enough. He's like, shut up, enough jibber jabber. Real quick here, as Boros was looking, and Saitama's like, are we about done here? And Boros just doesn't know what to do. I love the black with just the gradients here. It's pretty cool. So he's like, no. You can see the energy. And then the power, meteoric burst. They always gotta call it here. So you can see here that he's forming it, and then he's releasing it here again from this side to that side. So there it goes. Saitama just kind of stands there, and then he watches it. He's gonna punch him. And look at that bash. And it's just rumbling throughout the ship. And look at this. Here's the city underneath it, so you can see that it's a huge huge miles. That impact is so big. And so $5 says Saitama's still standing there. Oh no, there he is. That would have been funny if he's just standing there. Looks like Boros kicking his butt, so perhaps Saitama has met his match. Look at that, they're destroying the ship. The poor people that live in this city. Then he hit him so hard, boom. Saitama's just staring here. He hit him all the way to the moon. That's awesome. Look at that, hit him so hard he's in the moon and even broke off debris. Now, in real life, the Earth is actually a little bit farther away, but we get it for graphic. It looks just awesome. And then he's like, oof, he's got to hold his breath. So he notices that he's in outer space. So look at that. This is almost a real fight. Goodness gracious. So he's gonna try to make the jump to go back to Earth because gravity is lighter. So he holds his breath and jumps, and look at all this energy. Boom, boom, boom. Cracking part of the moon. Look at this. That's awesome. God, what an awesome series this is. I recommend you guys getting this. You can get them on Amazon. So many places sell them. They can sell them in volumes at a time, so you can buy just, you know, like volumes 1 through 10, and then 10 through 20, etc., etc. So, and then here comes Saitama. Just bam, just awesome. And just look, he landed with so much power. Now the ship is crashing into the city. All this destruction, goodness gracious. I don't want to live in that planet. So and so everyone's happy because they're finally bringing down the ship. Too bad it's destroying like most of the world. So they think that perhaps the people think that perhaps the terrible tornado did it, but of course she didn't do it. And so from here, so you can see Saitama looking down, then up here, and then but here's Boros. Fight's not over yet. So he's gonna try to hit him with everything he's got. Look at this. Man, oh man. Just awesome. And then Saitama punches him. We all know what the punches do. And just boom. Knocks him back. Tells him he's a worthy opponent. And Saitama then just continues to punch him. And then boom. Just destroys him. And then he says he's got one last move. He's going to release all his energy to blow away him and the entire planet's surface. So he's going to destroy everything. And Saitama's like, whoa. So he's getting ready to unleash his power, and everything is just... The ship's, of course, going to crash on top of everybody. So His power's called Collapsing Star Roaring Cannon, and he sends it toward Saitama. And he says, "Well, I've got a finishing move too." And then he punches it. Look at this. It's a serious punch. That's awesome. So I'm just gonna go back real quick. So this is a double page splash. So this whole scene is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So 13, 14 pages just doing the punch. 15, 16. So look at that. Look at how awesome this is. This is my, like I said, this is my current favorite manga. It is just so cool. So, and he's like, Janice is like, did Master do that? So, so it, everyone's like, the power spheres broke, we're crashing, and I want to go home. Look at this. And so right here is where he hit him so hard that the clouds, in the impact, moved the clouds out. And here's Boros down. He's like, I lost. So Saitama asks him if he's still conscious. Toad says, you really are strong. He said, it was a challenging fight. Saitama tells him it sure was. And he kind of laughs. He says, you're lying. He says, you had strength to spare. And Saitama just kind of doesn't say anything. Says, I barely even phased you. And boom. And then prophecies are unreliable. He was too strong. And Saitama walks away as things are still falling. And so we go to the next chapter, Crash, where the ship is going down. I wonder if this whole chapter is just to show the cool. I haven't read this in a while, so kind of just sort of looking. So they all see that the ship is falling, and Bang says, "Run for the headquarters. We'll never make it." And then the angel dash. Look at how awesome this is. This is stuff that if you want to do comic books or art or any kind of this, you look at them and you're like, I could never do that. But you know what? Do you? It's okay. You don't have to do this. Just do what you can or what you're good at. Never give up. I've seen different artists, and some of them I go, oh my god, I can't believe that I look at their art and I'm like, that's not that. But you know what? It's okay. So if you want to do it, do it. And so he's saying, how did this happen to City A? He must have missed it. So this here is Sweet Mask. Oh, and of course, Handsome Kamen, the Amai mask. So he tasked Metal Bat to explain it. I like, was he not paying attention? asks him where he came from. Says he was filming a TV show in the next town and he heard the rumblings and he found the city in ruins. He says, monsters did this with the big cannon, but it's over now. Look at all this destruction. It's over, you say? So, calls them incompetent because of all the destruction. So he says, for someone that shows up late, he's copying an attitude. He says, I was late, but you were here and you didn't protect the city. So, and then here we have the Atomic Samurai. It says, we were in a meeting at headquarters. We came out within seconds, but the city had already been destroyed. He says, so what? And so, Puri asks him whose side he's on. They did their best. He says he's on the side of justice. So, he says that they're a disgrace. And if you can't be of any use, then quit. And he's like, hey, dial it down. He doesn't mind hitting him. He says, do you know why I'm not Class S? He says, I protect Class A rank 1 so no more losers like you move up. And then clunk. And so, in this thing, this opens up and there's like a robot or an android in here. He's coming out as everybody stares. And it's the Metal Knight. And he says, weren't you at the meeting now? Did you show up? And so, and remember what, what was his name? Something Drive. So, Drive Knight told him that he's not a friend, so he says, so this was a subject I detected. Outstanding. And Jenna says, Metal Knight, why have you come here? The fight is over. And then he remembers here, Drive Knight saying, Metal Knight is your enemy. He's supposed to be like Iron Man. I don't know if you remember. But have you come to salvage this ship for technology to make stronger weapons? Tells him that the destruction of the meteor surprised him. And yes, he's basically needs to make strong weapons for peace. So, we all know peace through superior firepower. So Metal Bat tells him that they'll settle this later. So, and Super Alloy Darkshine says he found alien survivors. So, they're all imprisoned here. They're kind of cute. So, and looks like they're killed. So, and the masked guy says, sorry, they must not live for their evil. So he quickly delivered justice and everybody's kind of just shocked. So Jenna says, he's like me before I met Master. He has a hard heart. So, and so he wonders what made him this way. And then he thinks about Saitama. And then, boom, right on cue. And they're like, hey, you're that guy I was drinking tea with. And Tornado asks, what were you doing in the ship? There's Janice, Master, are you alright? And so um, he tells Janice that it's all over, that they can go home. He says, oh, you're bleeding. And he says, no, that's from the aliens. Did you defeat the enemy leader? Yeah, but he was strong, maybe the strongest ever. So then if it weren't for you, the prophecy about Earth's destruction may have come true. And Tornado doesn't like it. She's like, are they ignoring me? So Saitama says, no, prophecies don't ever come true. And then she's like, stop right there. She's yelling that he went in there without permission and alone. A Class B hero shouldn't overstep his bounds. She would have been fine alone. And Baldy, she calls him. And then she's insulting him. Chrome dome, doofus, boiled egg, light bulb, avocado, stupid face, freak. And so he's feeling a little embarrassed. So he says, Janice, say something. He's like, Roger. And then he's like, listen, you poopy brat, shut up and scram or I will pulverize you. And he's like, yeah, that nice. That was good. So, and then bam, bam, bam. That's probably Tornado hitting him. So, how dare you call me a brat? I'm older than you. And she's like, Janice. And she's like, you're next, Mr. Class B. So Bang says, let it go, Tornado. Is that how a Class S rank 2 hero behaves? And she's like, ugh, fine. And then, of course, Bang's like, so many heroes are problem children. Ow, my back hurts. So, look at all this destruction here. Goodness gracious. On this day, City A disappeared from the map. Here comes the rescue. So it kind of gives you a cool kind of synopsis here. For days, the media reported the destruction of the city by the extraterrestrial. Metal Knight recovered the spacecraft and took it somewhere. The Hero Association headquarters was renovated into an impregnable fortress. So new roads were constructed around the headquarters to allow rapid access, and heroes Class A and higher who wish to do so may now live there. Love this. And so we're going to have now one of the bonus stories here. And you can even say here bonus. So it's Pebble from the moon. So he thinks he can maybe sell it. He says 600,000 yen for a gram. And he's like, for real? Awesome, let's go sell it. And he says, where'd you get this? So the moon. And he goes, seriously, if you hold your nose, you'd be surprised how it just looks at him. He goes, that's incredible, master. He says, now to the pawn shop. And so he drops it into this parking lot. So now they're trying to find the moon. So we're now here in the 2 days after the destruction. So and so we kind of get the whole thing about the roads here. So basically to clear the rubble and have all the roads lead to the city, and it'll take about 10 years. So they're like, you must be exaggerating, and the staggering down. And so one it's gonna cost a lot. So and they have given the job to one person here. And so, is that an earthquake? Oh no. And then they think it's an attack another spaceship, and it's like an at here. Is this not the coolest? Look at that. So we got this at machine-ish thing here. So they're like, call the heroes. We can't let the headquarters fall. So, and here's a tank top master and his crew. They're training. So they're like, all right, send them out. So here's a terrible tornado. So he wants to train harder because of her. So he wants to be as strong as her. So he's going to continue to train even harder. So love this. So he wants to, like I said, defeat her. And so he comes and says, we have an emergency. So they're sending Tam Top Master and his disciples here until the reinforcements arrive. So here they come. That is awesome. So he tells them to stay back because the spacecraft from a few days ago was bigger, so he thinks that this is not no big deal. So off he goes. And so you can see here this opens up. Sorry, I almost got this way to this way. So and these little things are coming out of the craft, and getting the tank top team here out. So he was able to destroy one. Just still thinking about tornado. And so saying they're acting weird, and says they're ignoring us and they're eating the rubble. So this must be the says what are they doing, and they're like, hey, it's talking. And so and then they go, are you Metal Knight? And he goes, yes, I was contracted to reconstruct City A. So that's what you're doing? Yes, I'm busy. I will do it the way I find easiest and finish in 10 days or less. So and so he's like, I can't believe he's going to do this in 10 days. Is that even possible? It would take me hundreds of days. Is this machine power? So he just can't believe it. He now thinks, oh my gosh, even Metal Knight is even stronger than me. So because he's been outshined twice. So and so the Hero Association staff members are kind of bothered by how Metal Knight is kind of going about, and are kind of consider him a threat. So it Metal Knight did it in 7 days. Look at that. So, and they all thought it would take 10 years, but and so we got the bonus manga too. And so we got an arrow leading up to this little thing up here, like a dojo. It says here, 1 year ago I requested an apprenticeship so I could be popular with the girl, but I don't feel any stronger. So what we're doing here is this follows Charenko as he's leaving Bang's dojo here. He says he doesn't think he's cut out for this. He hasn't even shown up in 2 weeks. So He says that these stairs are a pain. So here, all the things that he does, and so he's decided that he'll quit after he paid for this month. He never got popular anyway and quit everything he does. So, and then someone says hello, and opens up and goes, "What's so quiet?" And then as there's Master Bang, he says, "Oh, you came." He says, "Shall we train?" And he says, "No, wait. Why are you wiping the floor? Where are the other guys?" And he says, "They quit." And he says, "You're the last one." He says, "All of them?" There were over 100. He says, "Yes." "So I'm your top pupil?" And he's like, "If you want to call it that." And he's like, "All right, I can stick with this." And he thinks here he's pretty pumped up. So he's now going to work even harder. So that one was short. So now we're in the third one. So Saitama's walking. Now, if you notice here, this is probably an actual picture somewhere, and then turned black and white, and then he draws Saitama there. But he says, "Yeah, police, sure." He says there's been incidents around, and it's dangerous outside. He says, "What kind of incidents?" He says, "You can't stay." "So, out for a stroll on a weekday? What's your job?" asks the police officer. He says, "I'm a hero." She says, like, "Sure, whatever. Come with us to the station." So he says a witness sketched this criminal. It was dark, so it's vague. He said he's round. What did he do? And a cop tells him he has some questions he must answer. And so they give him some tea. He says, "What happened to your hand? Why is there blood in your hand?" He says, "It's from a monster." "A monster?" And he says, "I'm a hero." And the guy's like, "Unemployed, huh?" So this sign here says interrogation room. So he says, "I'm a certified pro. My name's Saitama." They're like, "I've never heard of you." And a popular hero is like, "A part timer, right?" He says, "I can't deny that, but have you got something against me?" And the cop says, "The way I see it, the Hero Association is fishy. We're sick of all the praise it gets. The police are heroes themselves, but we don't broadcast it. We simply work to preserve the peace. Helping people is a matter of course." So they don't like the heroes because they're attention whores. So he says, "Who needs the Hero Association when there's the police?" And he says, "We can gun down monsters." And Saitama's like, "Tell the monsters, not me." So now we're at the city Z. We're at the, or is this the Heroes Association? So City Z. So they're saying that the monster sightings on City Z are on the rise, and there's already been 4 this month. He says that he knows they target the police officers on night patrols, and that they have to be connected. And so this is the chief of operations. His name's McCoy. He says it's something. If he's correct, something interesting will happen too. And so back to it, and feel like a pork cutlet boy. And Saitama's like, "Yeah." So it's weird because they're feeding him. So they tell him, why are you a hero? He says, "I don't know. Thought it'd be cool." And he asks, "Being a cop isn't cool?" He says he didn't say that. So he says all the stuff that they do. Society wouldn't function without him. And that despite how hard they work, people ignore them because of the Heroes Association. And they try to do the best every day. And then he's like, "One of my subordinates was a really great guy, over eager, and for only being in his second year, he was an excellent officer." But then, of course, now they're making a reference to those attacks and how his bones were broken from head to toe. Ooh, that sounds painful. And he described the culprit over the radio until his he lost consciousness, and then they said his last words were, "Be careful, Officer Kuma." He said that was him, and even at the end, he worried about others. So he wonders how this could happen to such a nice guy. He joined the police after failing the hero exam, and that he's one of those heroes that he admired so much. And then the delivery guy says he's here to deliver the pork cutlet bowls. So, and one of them says, "Pork cutlet bowls, they came earlier. Did someone order more? So we know something's up." So he's like, "I never thought I'd get in so easily." And we see Monster here. So, and so his name is Surprise Attack Plum. So, and they're like, "It's a monster, subdue him." And so they're all trying to get him, but he jumped and got out of the way. So this guy's complaining to the police that after they nabbed him for drinking and driving, he lost his job and his license. So, and that this is revenge. So, boom, gets rid of that guy. So he's been the one that has been going after the cops. See how the description now kind of looks. So there are shooting, and so he gets all those cops. So, and they're like, "Section chief, there's an emergency on the first floor." He tells them not to move, and everyone's down. So, and the chief calls and says, "Hello, is this the Hero Association?" He says, "Why are the police calling?" He says, "Oh, there's a monster attacking the station." He says, "So?" He says, "We need help." It says if that they would like several Class A heroes on the double. And the guy kind of smiles here and says, "Well, what a surprise. I thought the police rejected the Hero Association. I heard you were planning to search our leaders' homes. So you consider our increased strength to be a threat. So, but you don't mind if we send you our superhumans. Do this once and you'll never be able to complain again." So, and he tells them that that means they've realized that when it comes to monsters, the Hero Association is effective and the police are helpless, correct? So, that's not something that I don't think would happen in real life, but I totally get it for the story, because they would want to be working together. And they're like, "Why is he saying that?" So, and they're all aiming at the thing, and then click click, they're out of bullets, and the guy's still being kind of pompous in there. "Can we expect a letter of gratitude for this?" And then he's like, "I have no choice, every second count." And then he's like, "Say please." And then he's about to say please, but Saitama takes his phone. He's like, "What? No, what are you doing?" And so Saitama's gonna take care of this. Heroes and the police don't do their jobs because someone says please, right? So, he says that was no hero on the other end, but I'm right here. Think of me as paying you back for the pork cutlet bowl. So, love this. And so he's going to walk up to him and ask him what he is. And he asks him if he's a cop. He says, "No, I'm no civilian. I'm a mere civilian." So he puts the, he goes bang. So we're outside the police station here, and reporters here, and she's letting them know it appears they request support from the Hero Association. Does this mean the police need their help? And he says, I leaked it to the media, the perfect chance to show them who's on top. So, and here comes the guy now holding him. He's like, what was that? And you can see that Saitama punched him, but he's letting the police have credit. They're like, it's the monster. And he's like, what? So, does this mean that the police defeated? So then they're like, what do we do? It seems the police were victorious, and that was Saitama in the cops. And he is doing the good thing. And they're like, what was that police officer's name? Let me interview him. So, and they're like, he's gone. So, he's like, who was that man? He says, an unemployed man with no fixed address. So, he was a hero. So, and of course, now we finally reached the end of the volume almost, but there's one more little bonus. So, and so we're kind of going into these two here. So he wants he's one wants to apologize, the other guy wants to fight. So essentially Sweet Mask prepares to go back to his TV shoot, but Metal Bat wanted to pick up where you know, ready for the fight. And then when their phone rings, Sweet Mask, both their phones basically were ringing at the same time, and then Sweet Mask ignored his, but Metal Bat answered his, and it's his sister, Zenko, who we've already made, who placed third on the piano concert, which Metal Bat was supposed to go to. So, Sweet Mask is now gonna then prepare to leave once more. So, and sorry, before he leaves, he asks for an autograph for his sister. So that was a short one. So great pin up here. This is probably going to be my longest video ever. So this is a big volume. So all right, here we go. So hope you enjoyed it. Volume 7. Like and subscribe, and thanks for listening.